So basically, what this project's all about is wireless energy. And if you guys don't really know all too much about it, basically, wireless energy is just like the wireless iPhone chargers we have now, where you just sort of slap it onto the pad and then it starts to charge your phone without connecting like a port or anything. Uh, if you work like hard on this, you could get it so you could have a wireless charger from like a good distance, and you can basically just be charging stuff through walls if you want, I guess. And basically, the problem that we try to solve was trying to make solar panels more useful for houses because, sometimes when you have to install solar panels to a house, the building could be like old. And when you're trying to install solar panels, like you could have problems when you're trying to install like the wiring through the house. But I mean, if you have something like wireless energy, you could just be transmitting like that energy through the house without having to like poke holes in walls or anything. Basically, when he talks about the carp, the part that like this takes on would be the energy part, just because it has most to do with energy and nothing really else about it. I mean, like I said before, it's going to be tackling like solar panel usage. So like there could be there could be a lesser carbon footprint for people in our community or something like that. Uh, Basically, like our process is just to find ways to incorporate this technology with solar panels, and from there we could probably like start prototyping it or something so that it could actually be useful, not just there, I guess. It's easier than like you think it'd be. Uh, Basically, what made me make the choice to go into like building these wireless chargers and going into the project was just that it was the most interesting, I guess. Everything else seemed boring to me on the carp, so I just sort of did my own research into what there is in the world and what could be done. And I saw wireless energy, and wireless energy out of everything looked the coolest to me. I mean, the way I see it is if I'm not having enjoyment doing it, then what's the point of doing it, It's just going to make your life miserable. You're going to hate what you're doing. You might as well find something that like you enjoy doing, I guess. Because Mr. Ebner is going to give you a lot of time to, work on these projects. You might as well be working on something that actually interests you and that you could actually like use to be beneficial for the carp. Um, the buying process was pretty easy, mainly because everything that's used to make these wireless chargers is just stuff that you could find around, like as scrap materials or something. It's not really very difficult. You probably buy everything you need on Amazon or just any other website that like has has a wide assortment of things that you could buy, I guess. Yeah, it's nothing like very specific where you could only buy something from a certain company, because the main thing that you're going to be looking into is, the type of copper wire that you're going to be using. And you might have to be looking for like other like electronic parts, I guess, so you could try to get the connections to work. But other than that, it should be pretty easy to find stuff to buy for these because they're not very hard to make. I mean, once you know how to make them, you could probably make like 5, 10 in like a period or something. Um, so basically, to build these, I just said that they're not the hardest to build, because once you understand how to build a wireless charger, it's not as hard as you may think it is, just because it's the same thing repeated. So once you got it down the first time, it's going to be super easy to do it the rest. Because once I figured out how to build one, the next one we built was just a more refined version where I just took my time on it and it looked way better than the first one. Because it doesn't have to look nice either. It could look bad and it'll still work. The main thing is going to be like how you guys are going to be able to make it look nice, or if you guys could extend like the range in which it could transfer the energy through like walls or something. Our results were pretty much successful just because we were able to make a working model, a working version of what we were trying to do. And it was good for us because, you know, we really needed that physical model just so that we could show like the people that you would be presenting to, like, that it does work. You could show them examples of the energy going through like objects or something like that, to show that there's not really a boundary for how the energy will cross over. So honestly, our results were pretty successful. We were able to build it. We were able to connect like solar panels to the power source, which means that it was basically like all green energy. But at the end of the day, we decided to like use batteries just because it was easier to do in a like closed off environment when we needed the light to turn on the other side. So yeah. And honestly, what still needs to be done to our project probably just has to be like making things more refined, mainly because, you know, our project, we made like a very simple model of what there is, but you know, there's a lot more that could be done to show the true potential of the technology. This mainly could be done by like trying to showcase that it could reach good long distances and it still has a good amount of energy that's passing through to the other side. Also, you could probably make it so that the other side receives at least maybe 99% of the energy that's being outputted, because, you know, with this technology, you'll find out that there is a drop off and it's not receiving 100% of the power source. It's more receiving like maybe 90% from close range, and the farther it gets, the energy like intake on the other side gets dropped down drastically, or gradually, I guess. I would have liked to take this project, probably like I was just talking about, I would have liked to take it to a place where we would have had longer distance like coils, just to showcase that this can be going through like probably heavier duty or walls or something like that. Because like I said, we made a model, but I feel like it was just a very basic model, you know. If anything, when you guys have time, it probably would be easier. Or not easier, but you guys already have the stepping stones. You already have models there, because I'll probably leave them with Ebner. So you already have like the basis of how it works, and you have a model to look at. So with the more time that you guys have that we didn't, it would probably be best if you guys figured out how to increase the range, or maybe even increase like what you could do on the other side. Maybe you could power something else, or you could make the power input, or let's see, the output could be more well received on the other side instead of it having a bigger drop off. Also, I would like to see if you guys could probably work on this project and try to make it a little more bigger scale, because there's a very like good opportunity with this technology that you guys could probably take, which is being able to wirelessly charge a car while it's driving. But this is more on like the bigger scale stuff, because what I'm leaving you guys with is more of like the smaller scale stuff, with something that probably charge like an iPhone or something. But you know, as you go, like if you go more in deep into this, you're gonna have to look into probably electric cars, and then how we could popularize them more, which would probably be by having them being able to charge while you're driving. And this is the exact technology that you'd probably be using for that. So I mean, you guys could probably look into that, and then you could look into how useful or how successful it might be if you were to use something like this wireless technology to charge those cars while it's driving. So that's pretty much been it for wireless energy. And if you have any questions, ask Ebner so he can let me know, I guess. You guys honestly have it. It's nothing too hard. You know, at first it may seem hard, but honestly, it's going to be easy. You guys already have the basics down, or the basics are going to be with you. So honestly, all it takes is if you guys are drive to do it. And I don't blame you if you're not completely drive to do it, but you know, it's not a bad opportunity to take, and you should look into it, I guess.